Hi, I'm so glad that you've decided to join me in not only a session about relaxation and refocusing, but about learning to connect through the power of eye contact. Now, I don't claim to be an expert or a professional in this particular matter. However, I can say that by learning to grow more confident and more comfortable, I've been able to use eye contact to connect with others in various forms of my life, and it's been very, very useful. It's also good to help with things like anxiety and sort of social anxiety particularly as well. So that's what we're going to look at today in a very relaxed and calm way. And all I need you to do is just to commit to this moment and this time and just find a relaxing place where you can just focus on me and you. So I'll give you a moment to do that. Comfortable? Then we can begin. So, you may think that this whole thing is going to be me and you just directly looking at each other. And of course, in an ideal world, that's what this would be. However, constant eye contact is not that normal. So feel free to blink, look away, just feel comfortable and relaxed and natural. This is much more about just being in the moment and learning to feel more comfortable and relaxed. So let's start by just thinking about why sometimes we feel a little bit anxious, especially when it comes to face-to-face contact. So the first thing is when we're thinking about being a little bit vulnerable. So let's take, for example, you're meeting a new person. Now, to start with, we may be feeling anxious because it's the unknown. And of course, when anything's unknown, we automatically feel not at ease and vulnerable. And that's completely normal and natural. What's important to do is to recognize how you feel in these types of situations, and then you can learn to counteract how you feel with another type of positive behavior. So that's where eye contact comes in. For example, if I came to you right now and I was looking at the floor, perhaps looking at my phone, playing with something in my pocket, looking around maybe to everybody else but you, how would that generally make you feel? Would it make you feel sort of uncomfortable, or like perhaps I was hiding something, or I didn't want to be there? Or just that perhaps I was quite rude? However, if I came and greeted you and looked you in a calm, relaxed way directly in the eyes to make that little bond or connection, you immediately feel a little bit more at ease, like I want to be here with you in this moment. And that's something that we need to sort of break down the walls of, being in the moment and being vulnerable. It's completely normal and natural to feel like this. I can feel like this regularly, even with people that I know. But once we learn to just take that time to work on this, we can gradually feel better and better. So, if you're able to during this, try and keep as much contact as you can on me at least in this zone, rather than looking away or being distracted by another device. Being in the moment is key. Now, secondly, when we talk about meeting new people, what you want to do is you want to appear confident and friendly. There's a big difference between confidence and arrogance, as we know. But we're going to go for a happy confidence. Now, if you meet somebody and you're sort of a little bit aggressive with your eye contact, you don't look away at all, can actually make the other person retract in a little bit. And what we want to do is we want to bring them out of their shell. So you have to find a balance. So what you want to do is you want to just make a nice bit of eye contact, maybe look away, laugh, smile, just natural. But immediately it shows the other person that you have some confidence there, but not too much. And it really is that simple. But it's something that many of us struggle to do. So I'm going to come a little bit closer and we're just going to practice a little bit more. Okay, so I know this might feel uncomfortable, but it's okay. Let's just have a moment of just making eye contact. Now, sometimes during these moments, if you feel particularly anxious, it can be good to maybe play a song over in your head and sort of distract yourself. And whilst that seems counterintuitive of being in the moment, it can be a good starting technique at least. When you feel the urge to look away, you can do so. Just do whatever feels comfortable and natural. And don't worry, we won't be looking at each other for the entirety of today's relaxation session. I want to also focus on helping you to relax and feel more focused. We can get very easily distracted these days, can't we? And we can also feel quite self-conscious, and I think that sort of slots into the whole vulnerability thing. For example, I can have days where I wake up and feel confident and happy, and I can also have days where I wake up and feel quite sad and anxious. Both are fine, but when I'm more in that anxious mode, I find it much more difficult to take the time to connect with others. So doing things like this is good and important. And whilst you may feel like, everyone is comfortable making eye contact, not everyone is. The last time I did this, I received so many comments from people to say how grateful they were for that sort of experience because they really struggled. So if you're one of those people, or you're one of those people who's just realizing that you struggle with this, then I am here for you. So, how are you doing with this? Feeling fidgety yet? A little bit uncomfortable? It's okay. You can try to think about something that makes you feel good as well. That's another good tip. I sometimes like to use the technique when I meet new people of thinking of them in a less than flattering way. I won't go on to explain certain things, but you can get a picture in your head. Just things that make people seem more human. think we can put, people up to this sort of high standard at times, and at the end of the day, most of us are the same. Not all, but most. So they may be feeling just as uncomfortable as you. And eyes are such a wonderful way to connect, because when do you really take the time to actually look at someone? And don't mean on a screen, I mean face to face, actually look at them. When do you really take the time to do that? Probably not that often, right? But again, that's completely fine. I always like to think that everyone feels a little bit sort of uncomfortable with this, to be honest. This level of connection. But it's something that's so important, and I think especially during this year when we've all been maybe struggling a little bit more to connect. Learning these sort of skills again, because that's what this is, it's all about social skills, is really important and really valid. And it can be applied in so many areas of your life. Think about the last time you went for an interview, perhaps for a job, and think about how much more differently you would have felt going into that room, confident, shoulders back, and being able to look your interviewer in the eye, give them a nice strong handshake, no weak handshakes please, and have that interview go really well, just because you were able to take that second to level up and be able to make eye contact. Better, right? Think about the last time that you met a new person that you actually really liked and wanted to get to know more. Think about the fact that things probably would have gone a lot better if you'd have just been able to really connect. And I don't mean connect through a phone. I don't mean connect through scrolling through their Instagram. I mean actually connect with them. Think of how we were before we had all of our devices. You would go and meet people face to face, and you sort of felt a lot more natural. But because everything is behind a screen now, and that's our sort of new world, we sort of lost the basics a little bit, haven't we? Now, people think that I like to ramble a lot and talk a lot, and they're somewhat right. But there is method to my slight madness. Because when we're listening to somebody, we almost become less conscious of our actual physical being. So you become less aware of how you look and what you're actually doing, because you're actually paying attention to somebody. And that's something that's so important when it comes to eye contact as well. It's much less about the actual physical looking in somebody's eyes, and it's much more about actually just being with them and being in that moment. And once you learn that the eye contact is almost like a sort of an afterthought, a natural thing that you do, just like breathing, you completely forget about it. And you just listen. And you just be in that moment. And that's what you're doing right now. You're not doing anything different. I'm just talking to you. And you're listening. And we're just here. You're not worried about what you look like. And to be honest, you're not really worried about what I look like, because we're just looking at each other's eyes. Everything else is sort of in your peripherals right now, what I'm wearing, what my hair's like? Does it actually matter? Not really. Because it's just about me and you. And what this also shows is that you're able to focus. And all of these things go hand in hand, so we can talk about people who struggle with eye contact, and we can relate that back to potentially a bit of social anxiety or just awkwardness. I am the queen of awkwardness. But what we can also relate those things to is a general lack of focus and sort of a lack of self. And once we learn to focus, we realise that actually things like social anxiety, eye contact, they sort of fade into the background a bit, because you've learned to level up your character in a way that you worry about those things less. And that's where we want to get to. So whilst today we're focusing on these, actually that's not our main focus. So let's step back a bit, make things a little bit less intense, and we'll have a nice relaxing ramble about focus. Okay. That's a bit better, right? Good. I know that it can be quite difficult to be so close to someone, but you did very, very well. I'm very proud. Now, when it comes to general focus and relaxation, you know it's something that I like to waffle on about a lot, and it's something that I still need to work on myself. But together we can continue to improve. So when it comes to focus and relaxation, the main thing, apart from being in the moment, is actually being able to focus on your physical being. Now, we talked a lot about not focusing on that when it came to eye contact, but when it comes to actual general focus, being able to recognize things like your breathing patterns, for example, or your heart rate, is really, really important in learning how to relax. And this is all about restructuring how you react to things and how you do things. Sometimes in life we get ourselves into a bit of a rut and we repeat certain patterns of behaviour with the same results. And we do it over and over and over. And then we wonder why we're getting the same results. So what we have to do is we have to recognise in those situations what's stopping us from reaching our full potential or the goal that we really want to reach. So, to do that, we have to learn to connect with ourselves. And that's what all of this is about. Connection. Connection with you, with me, with everyone. Connection. That's what it all comes down to. And feeding into connection comes your focus, your relaxation, your eye contact, your social anxiety. It all feeds into that. But we've got this. So, I want you to place your hand just sort of under your chest, okay? So you can feel your lungs and feel your breathing. You also feel your heart rate, so just place it there. And just be aware of that in this moment. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to think of something that makes you anxious. And I know that's not nice to do, but it's okay. It's only for a little second. Just think of something that makes you a little bit uncomfortable. We can use the example of meeting someone new, for example. and just sort of really think about how your breathing changes and your heart rate. I know for me that it feels a little bit more exaggerated, a little bit faster, and my breathing feels tighter. So now what I want you to do is I want you to focus on something that makes you really happy. Really happy. Now we all know how I love food, completely obsessed. So I'm going to picture being out for a very nice meal. Okay. And you picture anything you like, alright? Could be being on a nice holiday, could be being with friends, family, your partner, whatever makes you happy. And now think about how your breathing feels. I mean, I'm not going to lie, mine still feels quite fast because I'm excited for food, but it's a slightly different type of breathing, more relaxed and happy. You too? Okay, good. By learning how you feel in certain situations, you can then use that to change how you feel in the ones that you want to feel differently. And I know that can be easier said than done, but a really good technique for this is when you are in that situation where you feel anxious and tight and uncomfortable, place your hand in that same place. It doesn't matter if you're with people who actually cares. Just place your hand in the same place. Breathe. 2, 3. Take that moment, just those few seconds. And then think about how relaxed and happy you feel in a situation that you love. And allow your body to react in the same way. Because how it reacts right now is how you've programmed it to react, not how it naturally reacts. It's all up here. So you've just got to reprogram a little bit, regroup, and learn to change and adapt your behaviour in a way that's so much more positive. And as I say, this is totally easier said than done. But these things take time and practice, and together we're taking a positive step to do that. Now you know that I mainly focus on relaxing you, making you feel good, whether that be helping you sleep or making you smile and laugh. But what I really want you to do is I really want to make you feel comfortable. And that's why I enjoy just trying to help you in this way. Because as I say, I'm not an expert, I'm not a pro, and this isn't really about a form of hypnosis or meditation or anything like that. It's just about two people connecting, talking, and just trying to be better. And that's all I believe in life we can try and do. Just be a little bit better than we were yesterday. And I know in these times it's particularly challenging and hard to do that. Because, let's face it, who really has the time for themselves, right? Well, we should probably make that time. Properly. And you've already done that right now. So I'm already immensely proud. And with taking the time for yourself comes that new level of almost responsibility to take care of yourself and to nurture yourself and to grow and learn. And that can be a little bit scary, because change is scary, right? But I like to think that change on a positive level is exciting. And if it's something that makes your life better, feel better, be better, then isn't it worth investing in it? Investing in you. When we don't do that, it almost sends a message to our brains that we don't really like ourselves. And that's not a message that we really want to focus on. Because everyone has that little niggle in their brain, even the most confident, happy people. They always have a little bit in their brain that's sort of that bit of self-doubt, that bit of negativity. But what we need to do is we need to recognize that it's okay to turn that voice off and just focus on going forward in a positive way and learning to love and respect ourselves. Learning to be more than just what we physically look like. Because I think that's a big part in not being able to feel confident and connect like this. We focus so much on what we actually physically look like. And at the end of the day, we're just skin and bones. What we actually look like doesn't really matter. It just enables us to go about our everyday life and not be skeletons. So rather than focusing about, what does this person think about me? What if they don't like the way I look? What if? Instead of filling our brains with things like that, we actually just stop and just focus on the person you're trying to connect with, the person behind this mask. And once you learn to drop your walls, they can drop theirs. And as I say, this doesn't matter sort of who we're talking about here. We don't have to be talking about a romantic connection. We can be talking about a friendship, a professional one, family, whatever it is, even your dog or cat. Taking the time to realize that you are enough just as you are will enable you to connect better with people. It will enable you to look at me more directly in the eyes, look at your loved ones more directly in the eyes, and meet new people and feel more confident, because you don't need to worry. What's inside is what counts. But people won't see that if you don't allow them to connect with you. And that is why eye contact is so important. And once you realize that it's just not about your physical being, it's just about taking that time to just almost feel a little bit old school, back in the days without technology. Just focus on being with someone, another human or animal, and just allowing yourself to feel a little bit more free. Because I think sometimes we can all feel a little bit caged in. We can feel pressure. If we just let that go and just let things be, then life becomes so much easier. No one in life is perfect, and they can try and tell you that they are, or perhaps that they have the perfect life, and maybe they do in their mind, and that's perfect. But in reality, no one does. No one 100% knows what they're doing or feels 100% confident in their self. But we're all just a group of people just trying. And that's all this is. You're just trying. You're making an effort. You're recognizing that you can make these connections. You can feel better. You can feel more confident. You have got this. So let me just come closer, just for one last time. And here we are. I imagine this is quite intense for you, but perhaps not. We've come so far already. Now, as we were saying earlier, this sort of connection with new people is so important because they say the eyes are the window to the soul, and I genuinely believe that. And you'll see so many people, especially when you're perhaps using public transport, you'll see them and everyone will be looking at their device, and you'll be sitting opposite somebody, and the second you make eye contact, straight back down looking at your device, because people inherently feel uncomfortable by looking directly at each other. And don't get me wrong, if you don't know somebody and you're suddenly staring at them for a great amount of time, we move into slightly stalker zone, so you have to be careful. But just a few seconds, you're getting a good vibe off of somebody, or if it's somebody that you already know, which is granted a bit easier. But if you just take a few seconds to just look up from your device and just smile. A smile makes everything more comfortable. And we're not talking about an intense, crazy stare, big cheesy smile, a bit weird. But we're just talking about being natural and light and breezy. Just taking the time to just remember that we are all human. We are not meant to be constantly looking down or looking everywhere else but at somebody. You are able to make that connection. You are able to be yourself. And just by being yourself, you're able to be liked. And I think we can be scared that once we allow people to see a little bit more of ourselves, we sort of feel like maybe they won't fully like us. But the thing is, the people that do, in whatever area of your life, the people that do like you, are true friends or whatever. So don't waste your time worrying about what other people think. You make the effort to make this connection. And if they don't want to offer it back, fair enough. Maybe they feel anxious and they need to work on things, but you made the effort and you tried, and that's all you can do. And if you're trying this with people that you already know, and perhaps they've noticed that you've been lacking some confidence recently, trust me, they will notice a change. I think eyes can say so much. They really can show if you're angry or sad or happy. And that's why they're so important, because they can say 1,000 words without saying anything. So once we learn to feel more comfortable with them, not only our own ones, but looking at others as well, we can really start to just feel more comfortable in general. And that's all I think anyone really wants, right? Just to feel a little bit more comfortable, not only with themselves, but with others. So, I'm going to leave you now. But remember that I am always here, and you can practice whenever you like. So I hope you feel more relaxed, a little bit calmer, and hopefully a little bit more confident. And I hope that you have a wonderful day or evening, and I will be here whenever you need me.